Sports Hounds are live exclusively on A2D, A2DRadio.com. We are streaming live on Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, absolutely everywhere. He's Brad Breyer. I'm Rob Breckman. Frank Vesby's backstage producing the show. As always, the Sports Hounds and all of our A2D radio shows are brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy with Dr. Paul Vidal. He's our doc. Make him yours too. 3 convenient locations: Burlington, Cherry Hill. Forget the other one. SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com. All information on his services. Once again, he's our doc. Make him yours too. Also brought to you by Ambuck Service, their gutter and roof guys in South Jersey. Visit AmbuckServices.com. Tell them A2D Radio sent you. Get yourself a nice little friends and family discount. You miss anything, any of the shows on A2D, download us in podcast form: Spreaker, Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, iHeartRadio. The takeover is real. The takeover is everywhere. A2D Radio, the fastest growing sports media company in the country. We've doubled in size over quarantine. Not many companies can say that, Brad. We got our poll question tonight. Always brought to you by PhillyDrinkers.com. We need you guys out there. Human billboards. Go to PhillyDrinkers.com. Click on the A2D Radio collection. It's affordable. It's fashionable. It's nice stuff. You should check it out. Support the fam here. We need you. The takeover's real. It's not going to happen if you don't buy your stuff from Philly Drinkers and let them know who you support. We got the poll question tonight. We got some Phillies, Yankees. We're in a rain delay right now. Yankees just blew it open to 6-1 because the Phillies bullpen is trash. Sixers are live. The Rangers have been playing not so well. The Flyers played well. We got some hockey talk. Sports are back. A2D Radio is here to stay. But Brad, let's get to our poll question. We're leading off with baseball tonight. The Yankees are the best team in baseball. They're off to a torrid start. I have to agree to this poll. The Yankees are the best team in baseball. I don't even think it's close, Brad. What say you, Mr. Yankee?
Well, all things considered, that Paxton has been pretty bad. Tanaka has only pitched, one game so far?
Mm-hmm.
And yet they're 7-1, and they're going to be 8-1 after tonight.
Played well. I'd be shocked if they even took the field again.
Is that the hurricane or is that just a thunderstorm?
I think it's just a scattered shower.
Well, then they might be back then. But I mean, the Yankees bullpen has not given up 5 runs. I can pretty much tell you that. The Yankees have a very good bullpen. And the other thing is, I don't know that the Phillies bullpen could hold the Yankees down either. So I kind of think that the Yankees are going to find a way to hang on to this one. So what were they? They were 2, 3, 5. So, yeah, they're 7-1 right now. So they'll be 8-1 if they hang on tonight. I mean, right now,
they're going to win. This is only going to get worse for the Phillies because, the Phillies bullpen. I mean, I've never even heard of these guys. I've never seen the Eagles not caring about linebacker. They put that to shame because they put no stock into this bullpen.
Who's that guy? Was that guy Guerra the one that used to pitch for the Brewers, or is that somebody else?
No, that would actually be make sense and would make me actually kind of excited. A guy who's actually had, albeit a moderate amount of success, but had success in the major leagues. I don't know where this guy. This guy came off the streets of South Philly, got on the bus, and they told him to come pitch. I don't know where, Reggie McClain.
I mean,
Hunter, Adam Morgan,
he walks Aaron Hicks, then he hits Stanton, and then Ford almost hit a home run. I mean, that should have been Girardi's first sign that, you know what, this guy and that you're going to pitch to Gio Urshela, who was on. Maybe Joe didn't notice this past weekend. Gio Urshela was on fire against Boston. Now I understand Boston's pitching isn't very good, but Gio Urshela is a good hitter. I mean, I think people need to stop saying that last year was a fluke because he started the season red hot. I mean, and he hits a 3-run bomb. And right now, everything is I mean, and if you consider Gleyber Torres is hitting about 120 right now, Gary Sanchez, I think, only has 2 hits the whole season. And Chapman hasn't thrown an inning yet. I mean, Chapman's probably not going to be back for the Philly series at all this week. I mean, and they're winning anyway. It doesn't matter. And, when they beat up on the Orioles last week, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, there go the Yankees beating up on the Orioles again." Well, the Orioles took 2 out of 3 from Boston, and then they swept Tampa Bay. So, the Orioles may not be a great team, but they're not as bad as they were last year. I think that's pretty apparent. They've got 2 very good players, very good offensive players on their team, and their first baseman is pretty good, Alberto, and who's the other?
They got Roberto Nunez. They got
Nunez and Alberto are really good hitters. I mean,
Santander I liked him last year. He's playing well this year so far.
Yeah, and their bullpen's been pretty good too. The Orioles, Givens has been saving games for them. I mean, will it last? Probably not. But listen, you see a team like that start beating teams that you don't expect them to do, and all of a sudden you realize, well, you know what? They got a lot of young players. Maybe these guys in 60 games may not be as bad as everybody thinks they are. And how about Detroit? I mean, that's another shocking team.
Dude, I'm all for these bottom feeding teams like the Orioles and the Tigers. I'm all for them spoiling the party in this 60-game season. That's what's going to make this season fun.
Well, the Tigers,
fun.
They've got some really good young pitchers. My goodness. I mean, how about that guy yesterday who struck out 9 in a row?
Tyler Alexander strikes out 9
guys in a row.
Guys an American League record. An unbelievable feat. 9 guys in a row. That's a third of the game, Brad.
Yeah, and I think that was his first outing. I mean, I never even heard of that guy.
No. I mean, he's clearly just a guy they're giving a shot because they're not supposed to be that good, and obviously it's worked out.
Yeah, and then the guy on Toronto, that guy Pearson, he looks like he's going to be a stud.
On Toronto, yeah, that guy's a beast.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good young pitchers coming into the game this year. It should be very interesting. But getting back to the Yankees, I mean, you watch them play, and it seems like it seems like they hit like 3 home runs a game.
I mean, this is the first time in 5 games Aaron Judge hasn't hit a home run. He'll probably get one more at bat if they finish this game.
Yeah, it's the first time he hasn't hit a home run.
Stanton's been healthy. He's got a couple bombs.
He got 2 hits though. I mean,
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, the Yankees lineup right now, 1 to 9, is by far the best lineup in baseball. And you could say that, and you can't talk about, well, they have a DH anymore, because everybody has DHs now.
Yeah, I mean, you touched on Urshela. I mean, with Torres and
Sanchez are hitting about 120.
Torres and Sanchez aren't hitting.
Yes, they're hitting 200.
Healthy, and he's hitting bombs. You don't even have really a stalwart at first base like you expect an American League lineup, kind of to have. They don't really have that. They kind of have a platoon guy. Mike Ford played tonight. I know Luke Voigt plays.
Well, do you know what Luke Voigt's numbers are over the first 162 games with the Yankees?
He's got like 35 bombs, right?
37 and 100.
Yeah.
Over 162 games. I mean, that's...
He doesn't even play every day. He didn't even start tonight. He's not even good enough.
They try to get Ford's left-handed bat in the lineup every once in a while, because Voigt seems to be injury prone. So they're trying to keep him healthy. That's why that's why they put Ford in every once in a while. And then usually at the end of the game, they usually put in Tyler Wade at second base and move DJ LeMahieu to first, because Voigt's defense is lacking somewhat. But right now, I mean, they're like a machine. I'll tell you what, you watch your lineup, you guys have a pretty damn good lineup.
We do.
I mean, you look at it. I mean, Jay Bruce batting 8th?
Yeah, I guess he's the optimal lineup. I guess he's your DH.
Jay Bruce batting eighth. That's a pretty good lineup, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like
that's an American League.
It sounded like I was listening on the radio at work a little bit, but it sounded like Garrett Cole's a great pitcher, so I wasn't really expecting a win tonight. But when I flip the radio on in the fourth inning and it's 3-1, like okay, like you're battling. I like that you're battling. Jake Arrieta is actually pitching good, like good-ish. I wouldn't say great, but good-ish.
He kept them in the game.
5 innings, 3 runs with our lineup. I mean, if he does that each time out, the Phillies are going to win a lot of his starts.
Well, he's not going to be pitching against. He's not going to be pitching against what's his name against Garrett Cole every time either.
Or the Yankees lineup, more importantly.
Yeah. No.
But just one last thing on the Yankees. Just their bullpen jumps out to me, which is something the Phillies don't have, and they don't even have their closer right now, Aroldis Chapman. He still has the coronavirus. Yeah, you got Ottavino, you got Britton, you got David Hale with a 2-inning save over the weekend against the Red Sox.
Chad Green, don't forget him.
Chad Green is terrific.
Loizaga hasn't been bad either. I mean, he's a guy that can give you 3 innings out of the bullpen. I mean, they're good and they're deep. And when it's a shame about Tommy Kahnle, but you look even without Tommy Kahnle, they're going to get Chapman back probably. I mean, he's tested
by the weekend.
At the latest by the weekend, but he's already been throwing. I don't know what the deal is today with his throwing, but I know he was throwing. I know he was throwing yesterday, and he was supposed to throw today, and then he was going to throw tomorrow, but he probably won't throw tomorrow because of the hurricane. He probably won't leave his house, but he'll probably be at the stadium Wednesday throwing, and I would think he probably would be back by Friday. I don't know that they're gonna have him play against the Phillies. I think they'll probably have him starting against. I think they play Tampa this weekend, so I mean they'll probably hold him out for Tampa Bay. Hey, nothing against the Phillies, but Tampa Bay is a team that they really have to make sure they take care of Tampa Bay because that's a team that after getting swept by Baltimore, they're going to be coming back with a vengeance. You would think.
Yeah, and moving on to the Phillies, I mean, Arrieta pitches well tonight. Let me get his line here: 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 4 Ks. He gave up 2 long balls, but I mean, 2 long balls, 3 runs. I can live with that.
Yeah,
that doesn't bury you.
Had one guy. I mean, the Gardner home run hit the top of the wall. I mean, that was just bad luck. That could have just as easily bounced the other way.
Yeah, but I can live with that line from Jake Arrieta. The line I can't live off is David Guerra or D. Guerra. I don't even know his first name. I don't even care what his first name is. The guy stinks. He's not a major league arm. He pitches 2/3 of an inning, gives up 3 earned runs. He walks a guy, gives up 1 home run, giving himself a 16.20, a fat 16.20 ERA on the season. Like, for a team like the Phillies to be trotting out guys like this in the bullpen, it's really embarrassing.
Yeah, no, I mean, come on, you're spending millions and millions of dollars on some top quality players on that team. I mean, and you're going to be spending more next year when you think about you're going to be paying JT Realmuto because he's not going anywhere. We know damn well he's not getting away from.
No, you can't give up Sixto Sanchez, your crown jewel prospect. Even though I never thought he was any good, you can attest to that. I've been saying that for years.
Yeah, and you can't let
Jorge Alfaro. He's a decent looking catcher. We'll see how he plays the rest of the season if the Marlins can even play ever again.
But the problem is you can count on one hand how many catchers can hit like JT Realmuto. Really, I mean, there's maybe 3 or 4 catchers who can hit in baseball, and he's one of them. You're not going to get rid of him.
You ink him up. It's gonna what's it gonna take? 5 years, $120 million a year for the next 5 years, paying until he's 30.
It shouldn't cost you more than 20 a year for him. I wouldn't think so. I mean, who knows? I mean,
maybe you sneak in like a 3-year deal in to since they're scared to go over the luxury tax. Maybe you sneak in like a 3-year. I don't know, but I'm not worried about it. The fans need to relax about JT Realmuto. JT Realmuto is not going anywhere. He's going to get signed.
Yeah, they'll sign. Listen, they have to.
There's no advantage. There's no advantage to signing JT Realmuto right now.
If they let him go, there's 2 places he probably ends up. Okay, Atlanta or Washington. And if he goes to Atlanta or Washington,
I think every team in the fucking league will be lining up to sign him, Brad.
Yeah, I know, but Atlanta really could use a catcher. I mean, that would be a perfect fit for them. But that would just be adding insult to injury. Did you hear about Soroka tonight?
Yeah, I just saw the update as you were trying to mention it before we started. Yeah, it looks like he tore his Achilles. What, pitching?
No, it wasn't pitching. He was covering first base.
Okay.
On a ground ball, and he had to be helped off the field.
That's a shame. I mean, I don't like to see anyone get hurt.
That's a killer injury.
It's a huge injury. That's a killer. That can change the whole landscape of not even only the National League East, the entire National League. I mean, that's a rotation.
He's an ace, and the Braves' starting pitching is pretty good, but I mean, it's pretty good because you have him.
Without him,
yeah, no, without him, it's not pretty good. It's very average now. They have a good bullpen and they can hit, but I mean, that's a killer. I mean, they don't have their ace to match up against other teams' aces now. I mean, it's going to be very tough for them now.
And then getting back to the Phillies, I mean, look, Joe Girardi's a smart guy. He's a winning manager. He's a championship manager. He was a former catcher who those guys, they seem to translate into good managers for whatever reason. Like I like that he's our manager, but the top of this lineup's got to change. I hate the top of this lineup with McCutchen and Hoskins. It's got to change. I want to see Hazley Segura. I want to see Hazley lead off. I want to see Segura in the 2-hole. I want to see McCutchen and Hoskins down in the lineup. First off, Hoskins just stares at the baseball. I don't know what he's done tonight. I haven't seen any of his at-bats with my eyes, nor have I heard any of them on the radio, but he's 0 for 3 with a K and no walks. So he's not walking tonight. He's not barreling up the baseball tonight. He's not running the base as well.
McCutchen makes sense batting leadoff. That I get because McCutchen gets on base a lot.
He looks gimpy out there, though, Brad.
But he walks a lot, though. So, I mean, he does get on base. So you can
I hear you, but I need some speed. I need some speed. I need some legs in my leadoff spot. And I see McCutchen is just not recovered from this injury. At least,
I mean, can Quinn hit well enough to lead? Can he hit well enough to bat first?
My answer is no.
No, that's a problem then because.
Right, but I think you have a budding star hitting in the 9-hole right now, and Adam Hazley.
Yeah, but you don't listen. He's the kind of guy you don't want to have put too much pressure on him. He's just coming up. Leave him you want to leave him in the 9-hole.
He played it. He was on the roster last year. He got his feet wet plenty last year.
Listen, Rob, Gleyber Torres.
Brad, he's the 7th.
His first couple of years. I mean, a lot of guys bat. Big prospects. They put them down at the bottom of the order just to keep the pressure off of them, so that they can, they don't have to have every eye on them when they're up.
I understand, Brad, but this is the 7th pick in the draft. I see Mickey Moniak, who was the first pick in the draft, who's nowhere, can't even sniff the major leagues. You have Alex Bohm ready to come up, who they won't bring up for whatever reason. Spencer Howard's ready to play in the major leagues. He's a pitcher. They won't bring him up.
Well, he should be up. He should be up and pitching in the bullpen.
I don't.
Your bullpen is from hunger, really. I mean, that's what I told you is going to be a problem because the starting.
It's a big problem.
The starting pitchers, and I told you this in July, and you didn't believe me, but I told you this in the beginning of July. These guys, it's going to take them like a month the starting pitchers to stretch.
You're right.
out.
I didn't believe you. You're right. And you were right. I didn't believe you. 3 weeks of spring training is not enough for them to. They spring training is usually 6 weeks, right? 6-7 weeks, and they only. Right. I mean, I was wrong about that. I figured these guys would take some personal responsibility during the quarantine and at least, throw a baseball, be on some type of program, but I guess not. And it's not just the Phillies, it's everyone. None of these starting pitchers are really stretched out yet. So,
No, I mean that's and that's you're right about that. I mean, it's it. I think Cole threw 100 pitches his last outing, and he was good until he hit 100. Once he hit 100, the
Cole
Orioles
doesn't even
again.
Cole doesn't even look like he breaks a sweat out there. He's a cool customer. He's throwing near triple digits. It looks effortless for the guy. He's such a stud. That was such a good signing. I know he cost you a lot of money in a lot of years, but that's money well spent.
Yeah, but that's a deal. The Yankees had to sign him. They couldn't not sign him. I mean, they had to get an ace. They had Severino, who was an ace for 1 year, and then he got hurt. And he hasn't really been the same since. And he's not going to be back till next year anyway. So
and Herman's got really good stuff, but obviously he's got issues of his own, and
he's not going to pitch this year, unfortunately. But
right,
that's unfortunately for him. But I mean that team right now is loaded, and if you look at the Astros, I mean Verlander probably is not going to come back.
Yeah,
when you have when you're hurt, when you have forearm strains and stuff like that, those are usually precursors to Tommy John surgery.
Tommy John, yeah.
And at his age, you even wonder if the Astros would bring him back in a 60-game season. I mean,
they really need him.
I know, but what?
I'll tell you that,
Rob, if he's not going to be back till like the middle of August, I mean, realistically, how many innings is he going to give you in the playoffs? I mean, he's going to have to go in a hole.
They got to make the playoffs. They got to make the playoffs first.
They'll find a way. They'll bash their way to the playoffs. I mean, their lineup is good enough.
I mean, if Greinke doesn't get his act together, I mean, they're going to be really short on pitching.
Well, Greinke hasn't been all that good. The only one really that's pitched well for them is McCullers. The other guys haven't really been very good at all.
All right, let's get to some comments here. Joe Max in the house. There's our sponsors right there. Dr. Paul Vidal, make them yours too. Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton. I blanked on Princeton. He's got 3 offices. He's
Princeton now.
Yours too. And then the Ambuck services, of course. Greg Milakovic's in the house. What up, Greg? Never admit the Yankees are good at anything. Give me the Dodgers. New York. I don't understand the Phillies, diehard Phillies fans' animosity towards the Yankees. I don't get it. I hate the Mets.
I don't get that at all. I mean, Yankee fans don't really.
I mean, they're gonna play quite a bit this year, which will be fun for the sports hounds.
We're not
me and you, but that doesn't usually happen.
We don't really care. We don't really have strong feelings either way about the Phillies. I mean, we're more anti-Mets and anti-Red Sox than we are the Phillies. I mean, it's.
I don't like the Boston Red Sox. I don't like the Boston Red Sox even a little bit.
No, well, nobody likes them. I mean,
Greg, it's Jake the Snake. Jake the Snake didn't pitch all that bad. If Jake Arrieta is going to give me 5-6 innings of 3-4 runs, I'll take that every start out. With this lineup, I mean, they're not going to be playing Garrett Cole and the Yankees every night. So I'll take that from Jake Arrieta. They need Jake Arrieta to do something this season if they want to get anywhere near this postseason, because if it's going to rely on the bullpen night in and night out, they're going to be losing a lot of baseball games. And it'll be a shame because you're wasting Bryce Harper and you're wasting your last year with JT Realmuto. You bring in Didi Gregorius, who's off to a torrid start. I mean, you just totally ignore the bullpen.
You're definitely going to want it. You're definitely going to want to re-sign Didi Gregorius. I mean, you're going to want to. You're going to want.
I don't know how that's going to play.
Huh?
I don't know how that's going to play out.
You know what? If you gave him 3 years and $55 million, I bet he'd come back.
Brad, we have an owner and Mr. John Middleton, cigar boy, as I like to call him. He likes to throw around phrases like stupid money, and he doesn't want to go over the luxury tax to really put his team over the top. He doesn't have to go to the point where he's got to lose draft picks. He just needed to go a little teensy bit over to get a bullpen arm or two. Not even like a star guy.
Well, the Boston Red Sox,
or Vino, or like the money they got.
The Boston Red Sox are the prime example of what happens if you recklessly spend and you go way too far above the luxury tax. Look what's going on with them now. I mean, they couldn't. I mean, to not be able to sign Mookie Betts. I mean,
that's bad. But the only thing I'll say about Dave Dombrowski and what he did there was at least they won a championship.
Yes, they did. But but still, if you're gonna, how do you let Mookie
Betts is unreal. I still can't believe
how do you
way to do that.
How do you trade him?
Did you see the play? I think it was over the weekend. It could be over a week old, but some guy on the Diamondbacks, I think it was Ketel Marte, who's a pretty fast player. He smoked the ball into the corner, and Mookie Betts picked it up in right field, and in one motion just gunned him out from the warning track from right field to third base.
Mookie throws the ball like Aaron Judge does. I mean, they're basically the same. They're basically the same in the outfield. I mean,
he can run, he can hit, he hits for power, he hits for average, he fields, he's a athlete.
He's a five
player. He is.
He's a 5'2". I mean, if you're the Boston Reds? I mean, the Boston Red Sox are not a small market team. I just don't get how you can put yourself in a position financially that you went and paid all these guys, and then you can't pay him.
Well, it seemed like they made a choice between Bogarts and Betts, and they picked Bogarts.
I get
they're going to have to pay Devers.
A shortstop is the most valuable player on the team because
Bogarts is pretty good.
Oh, Bogarts is really good. I mean, if you saw some of the plays he was making this weekend, I mean, the Yankees could have put so many more runs on the board this weekend, but Bogarts just has an unbelievable amount of range. And, this coming from a guy who hates the Red Sox, by the way, I mean, he's a phenomenal player. I have nothing but respect for that guy.
To me, the Red Sox have a lot of stock in Benintendi, and I'm not sure how good he is.
I don't think he's all that. I don't think he's all that. And I'll tell you what, I think they overpaid drastically for J.D. Martinez. I mean, if you had a choice of J.D. Martinez or Mookie Betts, I mean, how do you do that?
I mean, J.D. Martinez is a liability.
He's a hell of a hitter, but he's a hell of a hitter.
He's a Gold Glover.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, JD's a good hitter. Don't get me wrong, but Mookie does it all, and to let a guy like that go, I mean, I don't know. Did they think that? I mean, if you're going to trade him to the Dodgers, that's the one team that can absolutely afford to re-sign him. So you trade him to a team like the Dodgers, he's gone. You're never getting him back. I think in the back of their minds, I think they actually thought that they might be able to trade him and then get him back when he goes to free agency.
Like the Yankees did with Chapman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. But see, the difference is that Chapman loved being in New York. That was the difference. I don't know that Betts was real happy with the Boston management. Chapman basically, the Yankees did him a favor and traded him so he could win a championship, and then they brought him back. So there was no animosity between Brian Cashman and Aroldis Chapman. I think all along that was the plan. Meanwhile, Jack Labor,
a closer, albeit a stud like Chapman, it's different than an everyday right fielder who's a top 5 player in the game.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'd rather have the top 5 player in the game. I mean, that's not even a
closure is a luxury you go out and trade for or sign when you're like right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you're ready to like when the Phillies got Lidge. I know Lidge wasn't Chapman, but like when the Phillies
had one great year.
Well, he was good before.
No, I mean that one year with the Phillies, he was great. He was 40.
He was perfect.
Yeah, it was 41 for 41. I mean, the only other reliever that I can remember that ever did that was that guy on the Dodgers, whose name I escapes me.
Oh, Eric Gagne, because he was on
Yeah.
steroids.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he pitched well in 09. And you remember, he was a really good closer for the Astros, and then he kind of lost his way a little bit. Then he kind of was our missing piece here in Philadelphia. So, close a little different ball game than an everyday top 5 player. But I mean, I think the Red Sox definitely saw what the Yankees did with Chapman, and they thought they were going to get cute and do the same thing.
Yeah, but there's a difference between
Now
trading.
they have egg on their face.
There's a difference between trading a guy to the Chicago Cubs and trading a guy to the Dodgers. I mean, not that the Cubs are a small market team, and the Cubs certainly can afford to.
They pretend they're small market.
Yeah, but the Dodgers. There's no way you're going to trade somebody to the Dodgers and think that the Dodgers are not going to re-sign him. I mean, the Dodgers have no problem spending money. Plus, last year they reset their luxury tax last year.
Yes.
So I mean, that was the whole thing. Now the Red Sox are trying to reset their luxury tax. See, the difference between the Yankees and the Dodgers and the Red Sox is that when the Yankees and Dodgers reset their luxury tax, they're still extremely competitive.
The Yankees and the Dodgers are the best in the majors, along with maybe Tampa you can throw in there, at actually having a farm system and developing talent at the minor league level. The Dodgers always have some stud coming up making his major league debut.
Oh, they're right. I mean, they're
same with the Yankees, same with Tampa, same with the Cardinals. Like these guys, these teams that, like the Red Sox, like when do they ever have a star prospect?
They had a bunch of them and they won the World Series, but the problem is they went and every time they made a trade, they were trading away all their top prospects.
Right. They sold out. They won a champion. It worked. They won a championship.
Yes, they did. But they're now at a point where, unfortunately for them, they traded David Price because they couldn't afford him. They trade Mookie Betts, and they bring.
That was actually a good move to get rid of him. The problem is you had to pair Mookie Betts with them to make the Dodgers bite.
Right. No, I understand that, but at the same time, all you got back was Alex Verdugo and a couple of kids who we don't really know how good they are. I mean, if you're trading Mookie Betts and you're trading David Price, shouldn't you be getting major league ready prospects?
I mean, Verdugo is. I like his game a lot, but he's not Mookie Betts.
No, Verdugo's pretty good, but I mean, you watched him this weekend against the Yankees, and even with no fans, he just looked like he was kind of terrified out there. And there weren't even any fans in the building. He really was. He was invisible this weekend. And let's be honest, okay? When you're talking the Red Sox or the Yankees, the litmus test is when they play each other. How whoever it is that they get, whatever big star they have, how they perform. It's always, how do they do against the Red Sox? Or how did they do against the Yankees? And Verdugo didn't do anything this weekend. I mean, honestly, the only guy that really killed the Yankees this weekend was Bogarts. He's a tremendous player. He really is. I never, I've been watching him all these years. I never realized what a good fielder he is and how much range he has. I always thought he was more of a bat than a glove, but he's got every part of it.
Two-way player.
Yeah, he really is. He really is.
All right, let's get back to some more comments here. Greg Milakovic also says the Phillies bullpen is a real, like a major league, a scene from major leagues. Who are these guys? I don't know, Greg. I don't know how a big market team that's flirting with their luxury tax has guys in their bullpen that a baseball sports nerd like me has never heard of, ever. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, well, between you and me, I think we are pretty good at baseball, knowing who guys are in baseball. That guy Guerra, I never heard of him.
No.
I have no clue who he is.
The sad part is Matt Klintak's never heard of him either, and he's the Phillies GM.
Yeah,
I spent money on that.
Yeah, by the way, the Phillies and Yankees, I think they're back, but they're playing again. Or are they?
Let me switch back. Sixers up 10. 4 minutes to go in the third. We're going to get to the basketball in a little bit. We're going to get to hockey soon. Right now it's baseball and all your comments. Let me switch the old tube here.
How about the San Diego Padres? They're looking pretty doggone good this year.
They're good, man. They're my National League representative. I chose them to represent the National League in this kind of goofy COVID World Series thing we're gonna have going on here.
You know what? We got fair warning from our boy out in San Diego, Bob Chandler. If you recall, when we talked to him, he kind of let you guys know that.
Yeah, we got to get him back. We got to get him back.
Yeah,
it didn't really work out.
Yeah, but we could get him. We could get him back. He's a nice guy. I'm sure he'd be happy, especially the way his boy Tatis is playing. He was saying he thinks Tatis could be one of the best players.
I mean, this guy's been around the Padres since what, 73, I think it was.
Yeah, he was there for 30 years.
I mean, Tony Gwynn played there, and he said, like, Tony Gwynn, guy played 20 years. He struck out like 8 times. Ridiculous. He said Fernando Tatis was the best baseball talent he's ever seen.
Yeah, that's saying. That's
guy who's been at the ballpark, at the San Diego Padres ballpark, pretty much every day since they became a major league team. Tatis is the best.
I think he was there in their second season, and he was there till 2004. So it's like 1969 or 1970 to 2004. So yeah, maybe I'll reach out. I'll reach out to him and see if we can get him back on again, because he'd be a fun guy to get back on the air. But that team has really played well. I think a disappointing team is the Arizona Diamondbacks. I don't know what's going on with them.
They don't have enough pitching. Let's get some more comments. Anthony Briscoe, if the Phillies win, I should be in the clear to win $13,000. I had them plus 3.5, but now I'm pissed. LOL. Yo, Anthony, I don't know what you do for a living that you have the means to be winning $13,000 on a baseball game, but I'll post in the comments what you do. I'll quit my job and do what you do to be able to $13,000 on a baseball game. But good for you. Good for you. I hope you win, and I hope
he likes the Phillies.
I hope you win, and I hope you buy some stuff from Philly Drinkers, Anthony. PhillyDrinkers.com, A2D Radio Collection. Go buy some shit with all the money you got instead of gambling it all away on the fucking Phillies, you idiot.
The Phillies against Garrett Cole?
He's got a plus 3.5, which I didn't even know you could do in baseball.
Oh, plus 3.5 runs.
Correct. John Malmos, I said last year.
They may lose that bet. It's 6-1.
No shit. That's what I'm saying.
They'll lose that bet.
Yeah.
The Phillies bullpen against the Yankees. Bullpen, the Yankees are going to score more runs probably.
And they're up 5.
Yeah. I mean, they're not.
I'd be willing to bet that the Yankees are nowhere. If this game restarts, I would be willing to bet that the Yankees are nowhere close to done scoring runs. So I don't know who's going to pitch after the rain delay.
Well, I would know. I can tell you right now, with the Yankees, it's going to be probably Chad Green would probably pitch the 7th and the 8th, and then Britton would pitch the 9th. And then
John Malmos in the house. I said last year, we'll say this year, and we'll say next year. The money for Harper would have been a lot better spent at the catching spot and pitching. Harper might be a great player, but when Washington wins a title after he left, look, Johnny. I mean, if you really want to put
that had nothing to do with that, nothing to do with Harper.
You want to put all the Philly struggles on Bryce Harper making $300 and whatever, $30 million, whatever
it's not.
That has nothing to do with the Philly struggles right now. Nothing.
What does that have to do with their bullpen?
Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, getting a bullpen is,
getting a bullpen, getting an average bullpen doesn't cost a lot of money.
No, it really doesn't.
So Bryce Harper making $330 million, whatever his contract is, has nothing to do with Matt Klentak ignoring the bullpen for the past 2 years. And they're gonna sign JT Realmuto. They're gonna sign him. Stop fucking worrying about it. Drives me nuts. You don't trade Sixto Sanchez and Jorge Alfaro to obtain JT Realmuto for 1.5 years of service or 2 years of service, whatever it's gonna be. He's gonna be here long term. Makes no sense to sign a player in the middle of the season in baseball. It's
How
not
old is he now? How old is
game with the cap and get a discount.
How old is he now? You're on mute.
He's 29.
29. They'll sign him for 5-6 years. I think you could. I think six for 130 probably sounds about right.
Cool. And I have an owner who says he's got stupid money, so I shouldn't even have to worry about the luxury tax.
Wow.
You want to blame Harper for this team's struggles when you got a GM who's clueless and an owner who's scared to pay a little tax to have a winning baseball team when he's got billions upon billions of dollars in the bank.
Isn't
obnoxious that you hate Bryce Harper so much because he slicks his hair back and has long hair and is the coolest kid in school when he's whacking 36 home runs over the fence, that your hatred for Bryce Harper blinds you to what's wrong with this team. Bryce Harper making $333 million.
First of all, he makes
nothing to do with the bullpen.
He makes the lineup better. Okay, the lineup. It's not only
time.
It makes the hitters in front of him better, and it makes the hitters behind him better. Okay,
it's just an ignorant statement on John's part. And he's not the only one who thinks this, because I see it all day long on my Facebook and Twitter feeds. Bryce Harper's not worth the money. First off, yes, he is. You're an idiot if you don't think he's a $300 million baseball player. He's a top 10 position player in baseball. And for you to put all his struggles, all the Phillies' struggles on that is just an asinine, blind hatred statement. You just don't like Bryce Harper, and that's fine. You don't have to be a fan of him. There's plenty of guys I'm not a fan of. Like Steph, I'm not the biggest Steph Curry guy. I wasn't a big Steph Curry guy when he was playing my boy LeBron in the finals every year. But I recognize Steph Curry's a great player, one of the best point guards ever. Probably will be top 10 ever when he's done.
Most likely, yes.
I can see that. But for you to put all the Phillies bullpen struggles on the Bryce Harper contract, you don't have a clue about baseball, John. You don't have a clue. And just put a towel over your head in the corner for a few minutes. Take a time out and listen to the Sports Town. Listen to A2D radio and fucking learn something, for Christ's sake.
Take a deep breath, because it's not Bryce Harper. Okay, first of all, keep in mind, I believe this is Arrieta's look here, is it not?
Yeah, $30 million a year is going to come off the. Yeah, it's a big chunk of change.
Well, that means that you could take the $30 million and go out and buy yourself a good bullpen in the offseason.
Ding, 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 ding. Correct, Brad. Correct.
But you can get.
You have won the Showcase Showdown. You get to spin the big wheel at the bottom of the hour. Ding, ding, ding. And you're still going to be able to pay Bryce Harper $300 million.
Do you know how much the Yankees pay Adam Ottavino, Rob?
What's that?
Do you know how much Adam Ottavino is getting paid right now?
Let's get $5 million a year.
No, it's $8 million, but he signed 3 years.
Okay.
But $8 million a year. You got $30 million coming off the books. Go sign yourself 2 or 3 Adam Ottavinos.
Like now it's Bryce Harper making $330 million when the Phillies haven't developed a star in the past since freaking Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins and Ryan Howard, since they won the World Series. Oh my gosh, the last time they had a GM with a clue and they developed talent and brought them up to the major leagues, they won a freaking championship. But you want to, it's ignorant for you to put the Phillies struggles on Bryce Harper. It's asinine. I know I'm biased because he's my favorite Philly, but I mean, come on. What more do you want him to do? He homered the first weekend. He hit a rocket off Garrett Cole. I heard it on the radio. He just hit it right at someone. He's 1 for 3 tonight. I mean, good God. Good players make good money.
First of all, you've only
played. You want
played.
to give Patrick Corbin 6 years?
You played 4.
Whatever he got in the Nationals. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. The only time that's ever worked out is with Max Scherzer. My God.
Yeah,
just blind asinine. Like, just sit back and listen to A2D radio and educate yourself. People who don't think Bryce Harper's worth $300 million.
There have been a couple of pitchers who were signed who were worth the money. Mike Mussina, I think the Yankees signed him to an 8-year contract, and you know what? He was worth every penny. Max Scherzer too. He's worth every penny too. When you sign
Very
pitchers,
rare that you give a pitcher over, 4 or 5. You get into that 6, 7 years. I mean, that's dangerous.
oh yeah,
Borderline reckless.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, Mike Mussina won 20 games his last season, but Rob.
And how many?
But how many guys do that?
I mean, I screamed for years. I didn't understand for years how he wasn't in the Hall of Fame.
They literally had to carry him off the mound last year.
And that's fine, but you won a championship with that.
Yeah, no, I realize that. And you know, and he was the even when he wasn't real good his last few years in the league, he was such a good clubhouse guy and such a leader on the team that he was good for the team. So it didn't hurt them all that much.
Prism 280s in the house, Brad. Great ambassador to ATD Radio.
He's the man that our boy who's that hockey player the hockey guys.
Yes.
The real good defenseman. I can't remember who it was now.
Pronger,
yeah. That was Prism was Pronger's friend.
Nice.
Let's see. Yes, they did. And
Prism speaking hockey in the chat. We're gonna get this up in the chat. I'm gonna tee Brad up on some hockey. I'm gonna try and take a deep breath and calm down after freaking out because people think it's Bryce Harper's fault that the bullpen stinks. It's player development.
Now you should be. Bullpens. First of all, if you get guys for your bullpen that throw 95, 96, 97 miles an hour, they should be okay for an inning. They just throw the ball by everybody. That's what the Yankees always do. That's why they always end up having a good ball. They get these guys that nobody ever heard of to come in and pitch an inning or two. They throw real hard, and then they get them the hell out of the game.
I'll tell you what, Brad, you hire me as a scout. You send me to Latin America for 6 months. I guarantee I come back with more players than Matt Klintak. I guarantee.
I don't know what the deal is with him, but I
guarantee it. 6 months in Latin America.
I mean,
no notes, no nothing, no going in cold. Just send me to the Winter League or their intramural leagues. I'll go to the deep crevices of the Caribbean, and I'll find more players than Matt Klintak. Good.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
No, a good Latin American prospect. If it jumped up and bit him on the ass,
just go to the Dominican Republic.
The guy's clueless, but it's Bryce Harper's fault because he makes too much money. That's why we don't have a complete roster.
Brian, listen.
It's the dumbest comment I've ever heard in the history. Congratulations, John Memos. I award you no points and may God have mercy on your soul. Just good Lord.
Yeah.
The picks on Wednesday with Frank, I think they do the dumbest thing of the week. That's the dumbest thing of the week right there. That's the dumbest thing of the month. That's the dumbest thing of the year. That's the dumbest thing of the century. That's the dumbest thing of the millennium. I'm sick of the Bryce Harper hate, just like I'm sick of the Ben Simmons hate.
Wow.
Tommy's in the house.
That's another
Tommy's
story.
in the house. Sixers looking better tonight. Phillies stink. Pretty on point there.
Well, the playoffs haven't started yet.
19. Yeah, I did lose my mind.
Yeah, the playoffs haven't started yet, so you don't have to get too crazy about basketball yet. Hockey, the playoffs have started. I'll tell you what.
They did. And Brad, your Rangers are down 0-2 to the Carolina Hurricanes, and they have a poll.
Carolina Hurricanes. I got to be honest. The Carolina Hurricanes are just a better team. I mean, they're really good. I forgot, and shame on me, but I forgot that they got to the conference finals last year and gave the Bruins a pretty good run for their money before the Bruins went and lost to the Stanley Cup Finals. That's a playoff-tested team. I'll tell you what. I'm not crazy about their goalie, but he doesn't let in soft goals, and that's the thing. You have to work. They have a real good defensive team, and they're tough. And the Rangers, first of all, I don't get this whole thing with what's going on with Shesterkin. Unfit to play. How is he unfit to play? Could somebody please tell me what the hell unfit to play means? Does that mean he's got COVID? Does that mean he's sick? I mean, what's unfit?
Well, no, they just tested all those guys, and no one had COVID. So this guy came back from quarantine not in shape, and the time allotted for him to get in shape wasn't enough.
Well, let me tell you something, okay? I don't care what kind of shape he's in. The way Henrik Lundqvist played today, Shesterkin should have been there. And if Shesterkin wasn't in there, then Georgiev should have been in there, because Henrik Lundqvist today gave up 2 of the softest goals I have ever seen in a playoff game. And I don't know how you can expect the New York Rangers, okay, who have a lot of deficiencies right now. They have 2 parking cones on defense in Mark Stahl and Brendan Smith. And Brendan Smith, by the way, might be the worst defenseman I've ever seen play for the Rangers. He's that bad, okay? You've got these 2 guys out there who stink and bring nothing to the table, and then Henrik Lundqvist giving up soft goals. How the hell are they supposed to win? And Carolina is one of those teams. They kind of remind me a lot of the old Devil teams. When they get ahead, they just put the brick wall in front of the net, and they're very, very hard to get. They're very hard to score on once they get a lead. You know, and they've got a lot of guys who can score in that team. And you know what? God bless them. That's a good hockey team, and I'm not sour graping at all about them. That's a good team. But what David Quinn has done just drives me nuts. You're trying to give Lundqvist a send off? No, it doesn't work that way. The idea is to win the game. As Herman Edwards would say, we play to win the game. We don't play sentimental favorites to say, bye, Henrik. Thanks for all those years. No, Henrik stinks now. He can't stop a beach ball. Get him the hell out of there. I'll tell you what, I'll go out of my mind if I see him in Game 3 tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. I will go out of my mind. It better be either Georgiev or Shesterkin, because if I see Henrik Lundqvist out there again giving up more soft goals, I may have to drive to Madison Square Garden and look for David Quinn. I can't see that anymore. I'm sorry. You know, I know you get teed off watching the Sixers when they're not playing any defense, but you know what? There's nothing that pisses me off more than kissing somebody's ass when they're playing like shit. And right now, Henrik Lundqvist looks like an old man in goal.
It's very uncharacteristic of New York to do something like that too, especially a team like the Rangers. I thought the Rangers had a really good chance to make some noise in these playoffs.
I thought they would at least win in the first round. And listen, I was selling Carolina short. Carolina is a real good team, and you know what? Whoever has to play them next is going to be in for a very, very tough series. If you recall last year, they took care of the Washington Capitals rather easily in the first round of the playoffs. And then after the Islanders swept the Penguins in the first round, they went and swept the Islanders and then gave the Boston Bruins all they could handle in the conference finals last year. So, I mean, that's a playoff-tested good team. Shame on me for not giving them a little bit more respect. Carolina is a good team, and you know what? I was dead wrong about that. One team I did predict was going to fall on their faces was the Toronto Maple Leafs, and I'm kind of giggling about that because I've been telling you all along.
I was right there with you on that one.
Columbus is just the kind of team that would make them nuts. So we'll see how that series turns out. But Columbus won Game 1, so that spells nothing but trouble for the Leafs.
And the Penguins end of 1, they're up 1-0. They fall in their first game to the Montreal Canadiens. That would be a embarrassing exit if the Penguins were to lose to that. If
the Penguins lose a series to the Canadiens, that would be that would be one for the books, because you know what, the Penguins are way too talented a team to lose to the Canadiens. The Canadiens really aren't a very good team. I mean, they're really not. They had 71 points. Now, I know that now you throw out the regular season. I get that. I totally get that. But the Canadiens don't have goal scorers. They're not a team that's going to score a lot of goals. So how the hell are they supposed to beat the Penguins? Now it's 1-0 actually after 2. So
yeah, Pittsburgh's up.
Yeah, but you know what? If Montreal scores a goal, if God forbid Montreal scores a goal and that game goes into overtime, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Because God forbid they go down 2-0, and then Montreal gets the next two games.
Look, I think that
where they get to control the substitutions and everything. That's going to be a very tough hill to climb for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Tell you what, this is a game I watched a little bit of the first game of the series. Calgary and Winnipeg. It's going to be a fantastic playoff hockey series.
Winnipeg won today, by the way.
Yes, the Jets evened it up.
Yes, they did. And I'll tell you what, they took when Tkachuk took Sheffield out, Mark Crawford had some very nasty things to say about Brady Tkachuk. Or no, excuse me, is it Brady or Matthew? I think it's Matthew. It's the one in either way, the two of those Tkachuk.
I have it right here.
They are the two.
Matthews on the Jets.
Huh?
Matthews on the Jets.
Matthews on the Flames. Matthew Tkachuk.
Yeah, I guess they're playing each other, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matthew took a run at Sheffield and put him out for the series. So I mean, Mark Crawford really had.
I have no problem with it. I didn't see the game today. I haven't seen highlights of the game today, but I did.
Oh no, that happened. That happened in game one, and then Calgary won the game. Kudos to Winnipeg to come out today and just hand it to the Flames. I mean, they kind of gave them their lunch. They hit him and played strong defense and just waited for the Flames to make.
I like the Flames. I like the Flames.
The Flames have no excuse. I mean, no line A and no. I
mean, I don't know how good they're going to be if they're going to win the Stanley Cup or whatever, but I like watching the Flames play.
Well, I got to tell you,
Gaudreau. I like Gaudreau a lot.
If they don't beat the Winnipeg Jets without Sheffield and without Line, they should be embarrassed. I mean that would be. I mean that would be like the Rangers winning a playoff series without Panarin and Zibanejad. I mean, there's no way that should happen. I just cannot. The Flames, they've now lost 10 consecutive game twos in the playoffs. They were saying that today while I was watching that game. 10 consecutive games.
How much stock am I supposed to? Seems like a dumb luck coincidence kind of a thing to me.
No, what it says is that team does not know how to put the other team away in the playoffs. I mean, and
that's a problem. The Jets are feisty. Prism 280 thinks the fix is in for the Penguins getting Lafreniere.
The Penguins would have to lose the series to Montreal, and I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, Montreal is giving them a hell of a battle, but I still have to see that to believe it.
And it looks like the top of the seventh in the Bronx is getting underway, so we can live react to that. They are coming back on the field. Number 82, Brooks Kresge. Pitching for the Yankees right now.
Kresge, yeah.
Tell us a little something about him. I've never heard of him, Brad.
He throws hard. Rob, like all the Yankee relievers, he throws hard.
And then that's a total contrast to the Phillies. None of them throw hard, and none of them throw strikes.
He throws 95, 96 miles an hour, and he strikes a lot of guys out. He's not. Listen, is he an all-star? No. He's just a guy.
Can he keep the train on the tracks when they're up 6-1?
Oh yeah. No, he won't give up more than a run or two. I mean, really, they just need him for one inning because in the eighth inning they can bring in Green. And then in the ninth inning, they can bring in
Ottavino, then Hale. They get the embarrassment.
Well, they won't bring in Ottavino. Ottavino pitched an inning and a third last night, and he threw like 30 pitches. So you're not going to see Ottavino. But they've got Green, and they got Johnny Loizaga, and they've got Zach. So they got plenty of guys to get through it. They just need this guy make sure he doesn't give up more than a couple of runs this inning, which I'm sure.
This is your chance right here. If I'm the Phillies, I'm a Phillies fan sitting here. We got Gene Segura at the dish. We got a pitcher on the mound that I never heard of. It's time to get this guy and kind of make a statement here a little bit.
He pitched one inning against the Orioles last week, and I think he got him 1, 2, 3, and he got a couple of strikeouts. He was very good, but it's one thing to do that against the Orioles, who, for the most part, other than Nunez and Alberto, the rest of the guys aren't as big a challenge as the Phillies lineup. With all due respect to the Orioles, the Phillies lineup's a little bit tougher to have to face. So we'll see. This is their chance, though, for sure. This is the inning.
Yeah.
This is the inning they've got it.
I don't like their chances against Green. Even if you get 2 or 3 here, maybe.
You got to at least get 2.
Make them.
You got
Ralphie. Ralphie's in the house. He's ribbing you about your Rangers. How about them Rangers? Waste of a team, I'll tell you.
I wouldn't exactly say they're a waste of a team. Listen, Carolina is better than they are. Carolina is going to give whoever they have to face in the next round a very tough battle. That's a good hockey team.
Well, based on what I saw yesterday, Sunday, from the Philadelphia Flyers, first off, what do you think of this round robin stuff?
I think it's kind of silly, but whatever. I understand why they're doing it, because they need they want the TV money, and they want they want to have as many games on as they can to try to get.
I am scared to death the Philadelphia Flyers are going to get an injury in a rather meaningless round robin tournament to determine a seed. I think it's ridiculous. Brad, let me tell you something. Because the Flyers played terrific yesterday, and they didn't get hurt. Carter Hart was cool as a cucumber against a very good Boston Bruins team. Now, I know Rask didn't play, so take that for what it's worth. But they get a 4-1 victory over the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, but the Bruins only scored 1 goal.
The only way the Flyers don't win.
What does that have to do? What does that have to do with Rask when the Bruins only got 1 goal?
Nothing. I'm just saying. Maybe
maybe
the Flyers don't score 4 on Rask is what I'm saying.
All right, so they get 2 or 3.
Yeah.
The Bruins only got 1. So.
Saying, Brad, because there's haters out there that are going to try and hate on the Philadelphia market and just grind my gears, and I'm not having it, because the only way, in my opinion, Brad, the Flyers don't win the Stanley Cup and we have a virtual parade, wherever the fuck they're going to do for the parade down Broad Street.
The one team I think that they would that would give them a lot of trouble is, I told you before, is the Tampa Bay Lightning. They're
going to play Tampa on Thursday, so we're going to see.
I think that's
the only way they don't win, Brad, is if they have a serious major injury.
Yeah, Tampa Bay
Bryce Blackwell in the chat agrees with me. We can win the cup. We're going to be a tough out.
Absolutely.
Tough out.
Absolutely. However, these round robin games, listen, it was entertaining to watch Tampa Bay play Washington today. That was a hell of a game. I watched a little bit of it. I was working, but that was a hell of a game. Tampa Bay pulled it out at the end. But honestly, these round robin games are kind of silly, because you're risking injury for a seed. And I get it. Home ice can be.
I'd rather have a healthy team than the last change.
Well, the last change is important, Rob. That does.
I understand it's important, and maybe I'm just not a big enough X and O hockey guy to understand how big of a deal that is. But I know if Carter Hart pulls his hamstring in one of these round robin games, I'm going to be heated and I'm going to be pissed, and the Flyers' cup chances are going to be down the tubes.
Let's put it this way, okay? Here's the thing with the home ice advantage, where there's no fans, okay, and the matching up of lines and stuff. Today in hockey 2020, most teams are putting out their top defensemen. Okay, it used to be that you'd want to get your best defensive line out against the other team's best offensive line. Right now, teams are more worried about putting their best defensive players out there. So usually what ends up happening is, except in the second period, which is the long change, they can always pull, if they don't like the defense pairings that are out there, against who's ever out there. If the first line's out there and you have your third defense pairing, guess what? As soon as the puck's dropped, you get your defenseman off the ice, and you get in your better defenseman. I mean, that's basically what they do nowadays. The only time that it really makes a difference is if the fourth line's out there and you have a face-off in your offensive zone, and the other team has their fourth line out there, and then you throw your first line out there. That could be an issue. But other than that,
there you go. Get your boy a bucket, Brad. He's throwing up.
Oh, wow, it's Krisky though.
The first two.
He walked the first two guys.
My chance. I'm looking at this game as a Phillies fan. This is where I got to do my damage.
Oh, you got to get at least 2 or 3 here.
Well, here comes the pitching coach. They're gonna talk about it a little bit. We got the Sixers going. They're
gonna waste enough time to get Chad Green up, which I don't really understand why they didn't do that to begin with when they're not going to be playing tomorrow night. That's another thing. Aaron Boone sometimes puzzles me. I mean, the other night.
Is it fair for me to say that I don't think he's that great of a manager?
It's hard to say that because of his record, but he does some things.
I could manage the fucking Yankees. I mean, look at their team.
I know. Well, you know what? I mean, I'll give you an example. I mean, the other day, David Hale's out there, and the Yankees are ahead 5-2 in the ninth inning, and you're bringing in David Hale in the ninth inning to save a game when Britton hadn't pitched the night before, because he wanted to hold Britton out and give him more rest. I mean, they got away with it, but it's a little strange, I think.
That's a big spot here for the Phillies. Kingery's up, no outs.
Well, as I said,
he has the first pitch and he flies out to the warning track.
So there's 1 out now?
So there's 1 out.
They may bring in another pitcher now, depending on if he's ready or not. But I think the Yankees want to find out about some of these young relief pitchers. I think that might be the reason why he's bringing these guys in, because they do need to pick up another relief pitcher because they lost Canely, and I think they want to see what they got in their system before they go and. All
right, here's my boy Adam Aisley. Let's go, babe. Time to do something. Barrel something up. Maybe they're looking past him because he's the 9-hitter. Maybe you'll get some fastballs to hit. Gene was able to tag up from second to third, so it's first and third, 1 out.
Yankees just want to get out.
I like that. He got a fastball he liked, and he hacked at it the first pitch. Is Reese Hoskins taking notes somewhere?
Could end up hitting into a double play, and that would be the end of the inning, too.
Well, you know what, Brad? I mean,
that's what's happening to Boston all week. I mean, Boston all weekend was hitting into double plays. It's amazing how that kept happening.
You square the ball up and you hit it right at someone. What can you do?
There's nothing you can do. However, is this guy a left-handed hitter or right-handed hitter?
He is a left-handed hitter.
Well, you know what? Krisky is right-handed, so I mean, that short porch is always invited, Rob. In right field. Remember, 344 to straightaway right field.
What's this guy got? Is he just a fastball guy, or?
That's basically it.
Yeah.
He throws pretty hard. I think he's like 95, 96.
Yeah, he's been 96 every fastball I've seen.
Yeah, that's how he was against the Orioles. He's not bad, but I mean, he's not one of their serious.
I don't know what that was. That was in changeup, maybe. I don't know what that was. It missed by a mile, so it's 1 and 2. But.
Well, I mean, look, at this
Prism
point,
280 says seeding matters. Would you want Philly to have the easiest road or the hardest road? I have no idea what the easiest road or what the hardest road is. I have no idea how these teams are going to respond after having 4 months off. Yeah, the Penguins 5 seed, but what if they just skate by Montreal? I'm not worried about Pittsburgh. I don't care. I'm not scared of anybody. There's no way the Philadelphia Flyers lose their first playoff series. No way.
They shouldn't.
No way. It's not happening, Brad. I guarantee the Philadelphia Flyers win a playoff series. I say Philadelphia 76ers, but I can say that about the Flyers.
They're a very good team, the Flyers. I'd be shocked if they
You want to say they're going to get to play Tampa or Washington or Boston and then lose? I mean, I can't really argue with that. Those are good teams, but the Flyers are a damn good team too.
Listen, the Flyers could beat any one of those teams too. I mean, they've proven that they can beat those teams. I mean, they're certainly in the conversation against any one of those teams, and that includes the teams out west as well. I mean, the Flyers are absolutely a
I mean, I'm gonna have to defer to your
contender
when it comes to Western Conference hockey. I really like the Avalanche. That's really the only team I'm educated on. I think they're going to win it. I like the Blues.
Don't throw out St. Louis. St. Louis is awfully good.
Well, they're the champs.
Yep, they're awfully good. So,
and Craig Berube is an excellent hockey coach.
Yes, he is. So don't throw them out. But
here's the payoff. Here comes the payoff. Nice. Fouls another one off. See, this is why I want Hazley leading off. He's spoiling pitches. He's got a great approach. I like this kid. I'm a big Adam Hazley guy. I think he's a player. I really do.
Boone is making it interesting by having this guy pitch instead of having Chad Green this inning. That's for sure. Not really sure why.
There he goes. Spoils another one.
So we'll see. We'll see. In any event.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's his thinking? He just wants to get this guy some work.
No, he tries to rest his bullpen as much as he can. His whole thing is he doesn't want to wear the bullpen.
Yeah, but I mean,
they have
respect to their all due respect. And there's a knock. There's an RBI single. That's a fantastic at bat by the number 7 owner, the only guy you've developed in the past 3 years, Adam Hazley. That's a great at bat. He swung at the first bat.
What is it, 6-2 now?
6-2, and here comes Boone. Looks like you're going to get Green. That was such a good – that was a lead-off mentality at-bat. Adam Hazley –
what I don't understand is why he just didn't bring in Green in the first place, but I guess he just doesn't want
to answer that. But this is why I say that I don't think Aaron Boone's the greatest manager in the world. I mean, he's got all the talent in the world, so he's going to look smart. They're going to win a lot of games.
Well, yeah, but this is the stuff he does. He should have had Green in there to start and just pitch 2 innings because you know what? They're not playing tomorrow, and Green is not pitched in 2 days anyway.
They're not playing by design tomorrow?
No, the hurricane. They already called the game.
They already called it off.
They already called it off because of the hurricane. We're having a hurricane tomorrow.
I'm gonna have to deliver the packages tomorrow for UPS, and then a hurricane is what you're saying?
Well, I mean, unless you're at the shore, I wouldn't worry too much about it. I mean, if you're in Philly, I mean,
it doesn't sound like it's going to be dry though.
No, it's going to be really shitty outside. It's going to be like 70-mile-an-hour winds. So, just be careful.
They might not even have us drive.
Well, it depends how bad it is. I mean, they don't want you to be in a flash flood. I mean, that's they're not gonna want that. So.
James Hupp Masia, he thinks the Leafs are going to win the Cup this year. I don't see that at all. I don't even think they're going to get past Columbus.
I strongly disagree. I've been saying it all the time about the Leafs. You have to be a good defensive hockey team to win the Stanley Cup, and the Leafs are about as far away from that statement as you can get. The Leafs are very.
They don't have a goalie. They don't have a goalie either.
No, I've never been a fan of Frederick Anderson, and I'm not going to start being a fan of his now because I just don't think the guy's any good. So I mean, that's the whole point there. I mean, he's not going
to. Ross is. What do you think about the Coyotes, Brad? Ross is in here. He's talking up the Coyotes.
I mean, they won game 1, so they lost game 1 to Minnesota, didn't they?
No, they're playing the.
No, Minnesota.
And Nashville.
Minnesota. Who did Minnesota beat? Minnesota beat the Canucks. That's right. So, they beat Nashville. They beat Nashville game 1. I mean, they could win that series. I mean, I don't think
wild pitch from Chad Green. Runners move up. 2nd and 3rd, 1 out. 1-0 count. Top of the order's up, Brad. Andrew McCutcheon at the dish.
Well, I think if Chad Green throws strikes, I don't think McCutchen can catch up to his fastball.
You're probably right.
That would be my,
Prism 280. He thinks the Avalanche win the Stanley Cup over the Lightning in 6 games.
that could happen.
That'd win me a lot of money.
That could happen.
Avalanche winning the cup would win me a lot of money. I got the Avalanche, I got the Capitals, and I got the Flyers. Live futures bets.
I think you're a lock to win one of those.
I hope. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I think you're a lock to get one of those for sure. I'm not crazy about the Capitals. The Capitals, I just don't. I don't know about them. But as far as
the Capitals were a preseason bet, as were the Avalanche. The Flyers were.
The Flyers kind of owned the Capitals this year, didn't they? They kind of smacked them around when they played them. So, as I recall, I think the only team that had success against the Flyers, as I recall, was the
all right, Reese.
Lightning.
So McCutchen just struck out looking.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd be able to catch up to.
He buckled his knees on a breaking ball right down the pike. He was just totally fooled and just stared at it. But here we go. Here's Rhys Hoskins. You got to get Harper to the dish. Here, Reese.
He's got to get Harper there as the tying run.
Right. See, now he stares at fastball on the inner half of the plate, and he wants to argue with the ump about it.
I think he's going to have a hard time with Chad Green. Chad Green is tough.
Brad, he just stares at the baseball until it's 0-2.
He's a good hitter too. I'm surprised he does that.
The guy's calling fucking strikes. He's called it a strike the whole night. Now it's 0-2, and now he's going to battle and.
Yeah, now Green's going to throw the slider again, and
I hate this guy. I hate this guy more and more every at bat I see.
And, the Yankees definitely want to see Harper up with nobody on base.
Correct.
Because if he hits a home run, it's only one run. So, then
he takes a tremendous hack at a 95 miles an hour fastball up, which was a strike, and he fouled it off. But how about we swing like that on one of the first 2 fastballs, which were also strikes?
Yeah, but the problem is he's
going more so than the first one. I don't know if you have the game or we're on delay over there.
Yeah, I don't have the game's not on TV for me because I have DirecTV. So you're
relying on my play-by-play. Pretty much.
Yeah,
and he swings the slider in the fucking dirt and he strikes out.
So that's the end of the inning.
Trash at bat. It's such a trash at bat. You go from Hazley, the 9-hitter, who has a tremendous at bat, drives in a run with a single, and then you have 2 pretty poor at bats in big spots.
You get a wild pitch to put him at second and third.
What a trash at bat by Rhys Hoskins there. I'm sorry, and I'm rooting for Rhys as much as the next guy, but I'm not sure how good this guy is, Brad.
Well, he needed to get on base and have Harper up as the tying run.
You got to get Harper to the dish.
Yeah, now Harper comes up in the 8th inning, and if Harper, and again, if you're a Yankee fan and you're like me, and I'm looking at Harper, I know Harper eventually is going to hit a home run this week against the Yankees. We know that's going to happen. If it's going to happen, I'd rather it happen in the 8th inning with nobody on base and a 6-2 lead.
And you get a 6-3. It's 6-3. Who cares?
Who cares? Exactly. But if he,
it would be nice for my fantasy team. I need some. Don 19. He wants us to rank the National League East.
Well, I'll tell you what. With Soroka out for the season,
that's a big loss, Brad.
That's a huge loss. I still like the Braves to win that division. I think the Nationals are second, and I think the Phillies are third. And I think the Phillies will find a way to get into the playoffs, but can we kick the Mets in the groin for a couple minutes here?
Yoenis Cespedes, who's actually was playing kind of good. He hit a home run. He was hitting with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, he was only hitting 160 though, Rob.
But I mean,
I
so
mean, it's only 7-8 games, and I mean
he just leaves he leaves the team.
Yeah, no, he just doesn't show up. I mean,
He doesn't show up. They find his hotel room
what kind of a class?
empty.
That has got to be one of the most classless moves I've ever seen. To not show up.
I mean,
Your agent.
typical Mets. It's typical Mets, Brad.
You can't blame the Mets for that. I mean, the Mets. Listen,
It's always the Mets. It's always something with the Mets.
well, yeah, that is true. They don't hit with runners in scoring.
I mean, I'm sorry. I know the Phillies bullpen stinks, but at least we know where our players are. We can locate our players. If we call them on the phone, they'll answer. If we go to their hotel room, it's not going to be bare naked.
No, you're right about that. I mean,
without telling anybody.
You know what though? I think if you're the Mets at this point and he's gone, now that he's gone, I think that actually might be good for the Mets because
maybe you might be right.
The diva has left the room. I mean, look, they went out and they buried the Braves tonight. You know, true. DeGrom was pitching, so if you scored,
DeGrom and Soroka left. So
yeah, well, I mean, but they had already gotten a couple of runs off of Soroka. So
looks like the Phillies. It looks like the Sixers are going to drop this game to the Spurs, which is unreal to me.
Well, see, the Sixers are going to be negatively affected by this whole playing under the bubble because the Sixers were one of those teams that was really, really good at home and really, really bad on the road. And I think a neutral game is kind of a road game for them.
I mean, how do you preach defense? This is a defensive setup team, and they give up 40 points in the fourth quarter in crunch time. I don't understand it. I just switched over.
Didn't they get
down 6-2?
Didn't they give up 40 points against the Pacers the other night too in the fourth quarter?
Probably. Well, TJ,
why are they being so bad in the fourth quarter defensively? That's something that's coaching.
They're poorly coached and they're talented, but they're not well constructed, which is what I've been saying for months, years even.
Yeah, but you know what? You don't have guys
on the wing.
But if you don't have great one-on-one defensive players, if you don't have great one-on-one,
Joe's trying his best, man.
Oh, the Phillies.
No, I've switched to the Sixers. We got a minute left, down 2, so I'm gonna ride this out. I mean, there's DeRozan to go up by 4. I mean, you need to stop at some point. I mean, and going back to the Pacers game, backtracking a little bit for the 7. Joe played great. Tobias played great. Ben played okay, but then no one else did anything. It's a great back cut.
Yeah, the problem with this
stop here.
Mm-hmm.
You need to stop here. They're down 129, 127, 40 seconds to go. You need to stop here. You can't lose to the Spurs. That's unacceptable. Get the ball. Push the ball.
Who has the ball right now?
Jake.
No. They just have the ball of the Spurs.
They just have the ball. They got to stop. M1. All right, so Joe's going to the line with 22 seconds left. Tie the game. Well, you got to steal this one. You can't lose to the fucking Spurs.
Wait a minute. Is the game tied now or they're down 2?
No, they're down 2. Joe has foul shots.
Oh, okay. So if they tie up the game, the Spurs have the ball with 22 seconds.
The biggest problem, he made the first. I don't know why Ben's on the bench right now. That's interesting.
He's on the bench.
Maybe someone in the chat. Did he foul out? Did he get hurt? Is he playing bad?
He fouled out.
Okay, thank you.
Fouled out.
That's why he's the best. He's the best producer around. So Ben Simmons fouled out. I don't know how he. So what? He's trying to guard a big guy. So he missed. Down 1. Now they're going to need a 3, and they're not going to be able to get it. So basically, I haven't really watched any of this game. I can only talk about the Pacers game because I watched the whole thing. But I would imagine Ben fouled out because he couldn't cover the bigs of the Spurs.
Oh, he may not be Mac. That may not be the answer for him to to be a point forward.
Well, he looked lost. Ben Simmons looked lost. He did okay on offense. He ended up with 19 points and 13 rebounds, which is a pretty good game by.
But if he's not used to guarding guys that are his size, I mean that can't be a good thing.
Brad, my problem with Ben in the Pacers game was he did way too much standing around in the half-court offense. Way too much. I mean, he's not used to playing off the ball. He's probably never played off the ball in his life. But, I mean, he stand in the corner and he set no cross screens. He set no down screens. He didn't try and post anybody up. He didn't try and facilitate as a point forward.
How's his shot? Is he shooting the ball well, or is he?
He's not really shooting. He didn't really shoot the ball.
Because all I saw were highlights of how great he's shooting the ball all of a sudden, and then the game starts and he doesn't shoot again. So the only time I ever see him shoot is when he's dunking the ball, which is great. I mean, you're never going to miss those dunks. But
Bob Rinker says he ran up someone's back on his last foul. So that's silly, lazy foul to me. Yeah, I mean, Ben needs to really figure out in these 8 games. Ben really needs to figure out how to play basketball without the ball in his hands, because I think Brett's committed to moving Ben. There you go, get a steal. Got a foul. Okay, we got a foul. They're down 1. Spurs are going to be on the line
for 2 shots.
For 2 shots, they're up 1.
So if they make at least one,
it looks like the Pittsburgh Penguins have scored a run as well.
You mean a goal?
Yes, a goal. Thank you.
2-0. Probably it could be an empty netter. By the way, the Blackhawks are trailing the Oilers 1-0. I'll tell you what, Rob. You talk about a shocking game. Seeing the Blackhawks ahead 6-2 after 2 periods.
The Oilers got boat raced.
I mean, the Oilers, I don't know how the hell that happens. The Oilers are younger and faster, and at this point,
let's see,
talented than them. Let's see
what happens.
Yeah, well, it's only one. Remember, it's only one game.
I get 1 or 2 from the line. This is where I need my head coach to get Joel Embiid, the basketball, in a position to succeed.
So they got 1 out of 2?
Got 1 out of 2. Spurs up 2. Sixers have the ball. There's 10 seconds left. You got to get Joe in a position to do work. He's at the very least tie this ball game up and go to overtime. You can't lose this game to the Spurs.
So the Yankees have now brought in, by the way, Louis Avalon to pitch to Bryce Harper, and whoever your 4 batter is. I think that's Real Muto, right?
Yeah, that Real Muto
Gregorius. So yeah, he's got 2 lefties. He's basically, Avalon is a left-handed pitcher. He's a matchup. He's their matchup lefty. So he's actually done a pretty good job when he's been called upon. But they do have Adam Ottavino out there in case they need him to come in. I would imagine he could probably get an out or 2 if he had to. So I don't think Boone really wants to use him if he can help it. I'm just a little surprised. Well, I guess they want to make sure they have a lefty for Harper. I don't know. Does Harper hit lefties well, or is Harper handicapped?
No, he's not. I wouldn't say he's handicapped.
Because some guy, I remember.
No, he's not one of them.
Okay, because I do remember Ryan Howard used to have all kinds of trouble with lefties.
Yeah, no, he's a much more rounded hitter than Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard was a pure slugger, Brad.
Gotcha.
He actually has an approach to hitting.
Yeah,
right,
seconds left. Down 1, 2, 3.
Milton for 3. Oh my God, he hit it! No way!
So it's tied, or are you ahead?
Milton with some fucking stones. Are you kidding me? They left him all alone. They inbounded the ball to Horford at the top of the key. He gave it right back to the inbounder, Shake Milton. Brad, the Spurs didn't cover Shake Milton, so he just shot the basketball.
Ben wouldn't have done that.
And he made it.
Yeah, Ben wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, for him to do that after the game he had the other night where he played terribly. I would say 95% of the Sixers losing to the Pacers was Shake Milton's fault. He played that bad. But how about that? Shake Milton redeeming himself. Now you got to play defense.
How much time's left?
This is where I need my coach to rein him in and say, you need one more stop. You need one more stop.
How much time's left?
This is the kind of win, Brad, that can steamroll.
How much time's left?
We got 6 seconds left. Sixers up 1.
And the Spurs are going to have the ball at midcourt. 6 seconds is not really that much time. I mean, you can't really run too much with 6 seconds.
No, you got to pressure the inbounder and you got to deny the ball.
Yeah, you got to make sure they don't.
Or maybe you let him catch the ball and then you do a little trap. I don't know. You got to be aggressive. You can't lay back.
No, I agree. You can't let the first guy who gets the ball.
Yeah, you have Embiid guarding the rim, so you can play aggressive. You have Embiid step up. All right, here we go. Spurs are inbounding. Come on. See, I already don't like it. I'd pressure the inbounder here.
See, I'd be giving the ball to Patty Mills.
Get out of here. Get the ball. All right, there's 1 second left. I assume it's Spurs ball, but I don't know. They might look at this. Do you remember in 1994 when that guy missed all those buckets in a row on the Knicks against the
against the Bulls?
They missed that. The Spurs just missed that kind of look, and then it went out of bounds.
Oh, geez. Oh, do you mean?
I think it's out on Embiid.
Are you talking about the Charles Smith Memorial?
Charles Smith, yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, the Charles Smith Memorial.
They only missed one time though. Then Embiid knocked it out of bounds. It was pretty.
By the way, that guy Avalon got Harper out. Don't know exactly what happened, but he got him out. So that's one out.
I don't know. Slow motion. That might be Sixers basketball, Brad. We might be locking this up with a Shake Milton 3-bomb.
And Edmonton has now grabbed a 2-0. Edmonton has just grabbed a 2-0 lead as Connor McDavid took the puck from center ice and went right through the Chicago defense and put a backhander over Corey Crawford. What a move. I'll tell you what, that guy can just fly.
Don19 comes in hot in the chat. Could you imagine if Allen Iverson had this Philadelphia team? Max Kellerman, who I hate, I think he's a stone weasel and doesn't know nothing about nothing, actually said something smart the other day. He said that if Allen Iverson was 6'5", he'd be the best ever. And I can't argue with that statement at all. So it is Sixers ball. They inbound the ball. Let's go. Embiid's on the line. 0.4 seconds left. Oh, man, what a win. What a win. I can't believe Shake Milton did that. I'm telling you, man. Shake Milton.
Well, you know what? That's the kind of play
that is just what the doctor ordered for this Philadelphia 76ers team. You know, Ben's fouled out, didn't play great. You know, Milton, kind of the forgotten man. He's in the doghouse big time with the fan base, and I'm sure the coaches as well after his trash performance. And he pulls up all alone with 6 seconds left and buries the game-winning shot.
That's huge.
There's 0.4 seconds left. 132, 130. You just missed. You just hit the rim. You missed this on purpose. There you go. Woo!
Big win.
What a win. 132, 130. Sixers beat the Spurs. They're on track. They have a win. All you Sixers fans that did that FanDuel promo, that's a win. That's some site credit bonus right there with the win over the San Antonio Spurs.
Congratulations.
Shake Milton with the Chevrolet player of the game. 16 points, 6 of 9, 2 of 4 from 3.
Nice job. I'll tell you what,
do that?
That's a big win with Ben Simmons on the bench.
Indeed.
That's a big win with him on the bench.
I do have to say, the NBA has, I mean, we'll see what hockey, I haven't really dove into the hockey yet, but the NBA restart has been a lot of fun. Talk about bubbling and doing it right. Adam Silver gets a gold star.
I'll tell you, between both the NBA and the NHL, they both have done an outstanding job in getting these guys ready to play and keeping them healthy, and not having any of these issues. And Edmonton now is on a power play, leading 2-0. So it looks like Edmonton is off and running tonight. So apparently somebody woke them up and gave them the message.
I bet you it's 4 games. I bet you it's 4 games. That series. I bet you that they.
I mean, Edmonton should be destroying Chicago. Chicago is old. They're all those guys are over the hill. I mean, I guess they had to have their one bright shining moment, but I mean,
came out hot for 1 game. Now Edmonton's gonna wake up and.
Yeah, I mean, okay, Chicago won a game. I just can't see them winning 3 games though in this series. That's asking a lot. And right now, your Phillies are, let's see, 2 outs, and Real Muto's on second, and Segura's up, and the count's 2-2. So it's not an Avalon.
We can live react. We can kick around some baseball here for the last 9, 10, 15 minutes of the show, however long we feel like going. I mean, they get another. So who's pitching right now, Brad? Is this
Avalon is pitching for the Yankees.
Okay? So he has to stay in for 3 guys.
Oh, he's already done that. He already did that. He got Harper and Gregorius out, and the right-handed hitter Real Muto got an infield single, and now he's 3-2 on Segura. So I would
base hit. Here we go. Let's go.
I would think if
6-3, baby. Mean Gene, the hit machine. That's some fantasy points right there, Brad.
Oh, did he get a hit?
Yeah, it's 6-3.
So now he's up.
Yeah, roped the single up the middle. I guess who's that? Real Muto scored from second
base. So 6-3. So now who would be up?
So we have Jay Bruce.
Jay Bruce. Oh, Avalon's gonna definitely pitch to Jay Bruce. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, Jay Bruce is up, lefty.
Yeah, but they'll have Avalon.
Oh, come on, Blue. Let's low and inside. He's been calling it all game though, so I give him credit for sticking to his guns.
Yeah, Bruce is not a great hitter against lefties though. That we know. We've seen.
I like pitchers, umpires, Brad. I like guys. I like
the games. I like the games to move along.
Yeah, it's like when I was umpire for like Little League and stuff. Like, dude, like.
By the way, the Penguins won, by the way, 3-1. So
3-1. So maybe the 2-12 seeds they got their win out of the way, and now it's going to be.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. You know, I mean, the Penguins are a better team than Montreal. Just like Edmonton is better than Chicago. I could see Edmonton blowing out Chicago, though. I mean, I could see 6-1 easily in a game like this. I mean, Edmonton's one of those teams when they get ahead of you.
Well, when I look at when I want to turn on the TV and enjoy myself, Brad, I want to see stars. And Connor McDavid's the biggest star that the NHL has. You know, right? Is he the best player in the league?
I think he is right now. Yes. I mean, Crosby is still really good, but he's not as McDavid.
I want to see Connor McDavid succeed. Like,
it would be nice to see Edmonton, you know, at least get into the real playoffs. You know, out of the qualifying round and play against a really good team.
That's a way to lay off. Jay Bruce putting together great at bat. Phillies putting together great at bats here in the late innings. Feeding off Shake, baby. Bob Brinkman, Anthony is happy with plus 3.5. Yes, that would be a win for Anthony now, who bet $13,000 on the game.
Well, let's say the Yankees still have to bat too, though. This isn't the 9th inning. This is only the 8th.
Payoff pitch. That's the 3rd out. So 6-3.
You're not getting 3 runs against Britain, Rob. That would be kind of shocking if that happened.
Well, hopefully they still only need 3 runs after this half inning.
Oh yeah, well, but I mean, Tommy, what's his name?
Tommy Hunter.
pitched the last inning and he got them 1, 2, 3. Think you're going to pitch
Yeah.
for 2 innings?
Hopefully the Phillies fans DVR'd that because 1, 2, 3 innings from Tommy Hunter don't happen that often.
The Blackhawks just scored, so it's now 2-1. I think it was Patrick Kane scored. Yeah, Patrick Kane. So
He's still got plenty in the tank.
well, Patrick Kane can still play, absolutely. I mean, that was just a beautiful pass. I mean, he got set up behind the net. That was a beautiful play by the Blackhawks. I mean,
Edmonton. Right, let's preview the slate tomorrow in the NHL.
Okay.
Going all day here. So, high noon, we have the Florida Panthers and the New York Islanders.
But the Islanders having a chance to make it 2-0. And I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised one bit if the Islanders made it 2-0.
Is that an official selection, Brad?
Yeah, well, I mean, I picked Florida to win that series, but I did not like what I saw out of the Panthers, and I liked what I saw out of the Islanders. The Islanders were playing good defensively and waiting for Florida to make a mistake. And I think if they just keep playing like that, they're going to win the series. So, yeah, I'm going to go with the Islanders.
Then you roll right into 2-30. You got the Arizona Coyotes against the Nashville Predators.
And who has the home field advantage?
Nashville gets the last change.
Yeah, okay. So then I'll go with Nashville that game.
Columbus and Toronto. That'll start at 4. Toronto really needs this one.
I would pick Toronto. When it comes to the playoffs, I love the home team that has to have all hands on deck and has to win. I love that scenario. I think Toronto wins this game, and then when Columbus has the home ice advantage with the line changes in the next 2 games, I think Columbus wins those next 2, and then that's it, and Toronto's out.
6:45, Calgary, Winnipeg. Yeah, this could get chippy, Brad.
Oh, they're gonna get their revenge on Tkachuk. The question's gonna be: are they gonna be able to figure out a way to do it without going to the penalty box? Because
we're getting suspended,
right? Because they can't do that. They're gonna have to wait till next season before they go all out, go out for the all out assault, because they can't get themselves shorthanded. Winnipeg. Because
who wins the swing game, Brad?
Well, I mean, you got to go with Calgary. I mean, I just can't see them losing a series when Winnipeg is missing their 2 best forwards. I mean, can Winnipeg beat that team without Line and without Sheffield?
I mean, they still have the better goalie with Cutterbuck.
No, I agree with you, but
that's kind of like all they got. That's like their saving grace.
They listen. They're a big, strong, physical defensive team. Winnipeg. That's their game. But I mean, and they have the 2 goal scorers, but the 2 goal scorers are out. So where are they going to get enough offense to win a series? That's just what I'm wondering. I mean, I can't see the Flames. I can't see the Flames winning that. I mean, the Flames losing that series.
8 o'clock.
That could be. I mean, if the Flames lost that series, that could be a fireable offense for their coach. Seriously.
Well, they fell flat on their face last year too against the Avalanche, after having a very good regular season as well. So you might be.
Yeah, but at this point, you kind of forget. You forgive that because the Avalanche are that good. But the Winnipeg Jets are injured, and there's really no excuse. There's no excuse. You can't lose if you're the Calgary Flames. You cannot lose that series. You just can't. That would be disgraceful to lose that series.
So, Rangers. Are your Rangers? Are they shaking hands tomorrow, Brad? Carolina.
You know what? I think the Rangers find a way to win this game. To win Game 3.
I mean, you just talked about it. All hands on deck. Rangers had the last change.
Yeah, and then they lose Game 4. But I think they're going to find a way to win one game. I mean, you know what? What really killed the Rangers was losing Jesper Fast in the opening minutes of the first game. That was a killer. That was a killer because you know what? He's their best defensive forward, and that guy Svechnikov, I think that's his name, the one that had the hat trick today. I think if Fast was out there and you know, marking him, I think that wouldn't have happened. But you know, they don't really have that that defensive stopper forward without Fast, so that's a huge loss for them. So it's going to be
nightcap. And then the nightcap tomorrow is going to be Minnesota and Vancouver. But
Minnesota should win that series.
Maybe do something.
Minnesota should win that series just because they got a lot of veterans and they're playoff tested. You know, Vancouver has a lot of young talent. I just don't know if they're ready to go to that next level yet. You know, give them a year or two, and they're going to be in the conference finals. But right now, don't know if they're ready to do that yet.
Prism 280, he's all over the Blackhawks. Captain Sirius and Showtime aren't washed up.
No, they're not, but the rest of the team are. Their defense is old. Their goaltending is awful. I mean, they
were really great. They were really good. That Chicago team with Quenneville as the coach and
when those guys,
they built quite a roster.
Oh, when they had Seawright and what's his name and Duncan Keith and all those guys in their prime and Kane and Taze and what's his name? Who's the guy that used to play? Who's the guy that they signed a 13-year contract? I can't remember his name now. Marian Hossa, and those guys.
Yeah. I forgot about him.
Yeah. Oh, well, Marian Hossa was one of the keys to that team. I mean, you had him playing on the third line. I mean, how the hell do you stop a team when you have a guy like that on the third line? I mean, it's almost impossible. But that was a great team. And then, you know, they also had a lot of tough players on their team. They were just really, really good. Between them and the Kings, I mean, they owned the NHL for like 5 years. From like 09, from like 10 to 14, those teams were just going back and forth winning the Stanley Cup. I think, and they won when was it? 09? Was it 09? 09, the Blackhawks won the Stanley Cup in 09, didn't they?
Yeah, they beat the Flyers.
Right. So it was like from
It might have been 2010.
I can't. It was either 09 or 2009 or 2010. But for that like 4 or 5 year period, I think the Hawks and the Kings were the ones that won all the Stanley Cups at that point.
Yeah,
so those were
really good. The Kings were really good too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The Kings are rebuilding now. I mean, they. But listen, when you win 3 Stanley Cups and you make all those now trades, eventually you're going to pay for it. Now they're paying for it now. But if you win 3 Stanley Cups, you know what? As a fan,
you won a championship. You're good.
Yeah, you won 3. You won 3. So you know what? You got to just shut up and take your medicine for a couple of years, and just wait for the rebuild. That's all, because that's just how it goes. You know, with a salary cap in the NHL, you know, your window stays open for about 5 years, and then
I didn't get the tag down. All right, Brad, we're gonna wrap it up tonight. Big win for the Sixers. The Shake Milton redemption night here on the
huge win for the Sixers. Most likely a loss for the Phillies. I won't say that.
There's still 3 outs left, but we're gonna sign off. We're gonna sit back in the easy chair, and hopefully the Phillies grab 4 off Britain and get a win out of here. Try and steal one, just like the Philadelphia 76ers did. He's Brad Ryer. I'm Rob Brinkman. Frank Vesby, terrific job producing the program. We'll be back next Monday night, 9 o'clock-ish again. Make sure you tell everyone about the new time. We're on at 9, not 7 now. So until then, peace out, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Good job.